Hey guys, RanterInShades here, exercising my first amendment rights vlog style, and welcome to Q&A number 9. I was aiming for this one to be more diverse as far as questions go, so let's see how well you guys did with this. So let's begin. Social Reject asks, do you like Nirvana, Alice in Chains, or Weezer? Also, do you like ramen noodles? So much for that. Anyway, I don't care for Nirvana. I've always found Nirvana to be kind of overrated, but I do respect them for opening the proverbial gates for a lot of alternative and punk of the 90s. I respect Nirvana for that, but on the whole, I don't really think they're that great. I don't really think they're that great of musicians, with the exception of Jesus. I also appreciate Nirvana for giving us him. Alice in Chains and Weezer, on the other hand, both of those I consider to be classics from the 90s. Alice in Chains is second to Rage Against the Machine as far as my favorite band of the entire decade, but I love them dearly, and Weezer, you can't go wrong with them. Blue Album, Pinkerton, even Green Album, Maldoroid, even Make Believe, and fucking the Red Album. You know, Weezer is a pretty spot-on band. And as for ramen noodles, I haven't had them in years, but next time I go shopping, I should probably pick up some because I kind of want to see if I still like them. The Wolf Eclipse 696 asks, 1. What exactly is your opinion on Donald Trump? Well, I'm not exactly a supporter of his. I didn't vote for him, but I don't hate him either. I mean, let's be honest here. We were given two very shitty candidates. Hillary, I personally thought was more shitty, but that's really aside the point. Really, the entire election has been shitty ever since the DNC was rigged against Bernie Sanders. Like, if Bernie Sanders had been the Democratic nominee, I think that he probably could have beaten Trump and we wouldn't be where we are now. But on the whole, I am wanting people to be positive and optimistic and not always assume the worst, because I'm confident that no one's rights are going to be taken away, no progress is going to be undone, and, you know, I'm wanting Trump to do good things as president, and so rather than bitch about him constantly, I'm trying to be in a more positive mindset, and I really think other people could stand to do the same. So yeah, not a supporter of his, not on the anti-Trump train. Bottom line, he is president, and I don't want him to be a shitty president, so I'm rooting for him. 2. What's your favorite Arch Enemy song? That would have to go to Ravenous from Wages of Sin. 3. If you could wipe one thing from the face of the earth, what would it be? That would have to be identity politics, because the thing that made 2016 so shitty for me and a number of people was everybody playing the identity politics game and whatnot and being really divisive. Like, it's one thing to say that Trump is being divisive, but at the same time, you really sort of gotta look at yourselves and realize that you're also kind of contributing to the divisive nature that is prevalent right now. So I really think identity politics is sort of the root cause of all that, so fuck that. 4. What's your favorite scene from the Star Wars movies? 2 words. Slave Leia. Ethan Work asks, what's your favorite Mike Portnoy side project? That depends on what is really considered a side project. Like, does Liquid Tension Experiment count? Because if so, then that is my favorite. But if we're talking like current projects that Mike Portnoy is doing or projects that aren't Dream Theater, then that would probably have to go to the Winery Dogs, because you also have Richie Kotzen, who's a great guitarist, and Billy Sheehan, who's an insane bass player. Stylistically, they're okay. I would want them to go a little bit more in a progressive direction, but overall I like their music. Michael Hall asks, what's your opinion on the media demonizing PewDiePie for making Jewish jokes? I'm not a fan of PewDiePie, but I do think that the Wall Street Journal is taking this way too far. They're really taking everything out of context and acting like context doesn't matter, because I did watch the videos and I didn't really see anything objectionable about the jokes, and this is coming from a former Jew, so think about that. If anything, I would say the joke was in kind of bad taste. I have heard better Jew jokes and Holocaust jokes. I'm not against the two jokes. You know, on the whole, I do think there are good Jew and Holocaust jokes, but I'm not going to be one of those people that says that, you know, you're a terrible person for making jokes, because what's really important is context and intent, and I did not see any intent on PewDiePie's part to hurt anybody or any group of people. And you also gotta take into account that, you know, PewDiePie is someone who's known for being kinda edgy, but at the same time, lighthearted. And, you know, knowing the kind of person PewDiePie is, I've said in a video before that I've always viewed PewDiePie as a very down-to-earth and humble person. So I knew right off the bat that whatever was being said about PewDiePie was being total fucking otherworldly fucking bullshit, and I really just think that the guy needs to be left alone. I do also think it was dumb that his YouTube Red show got dropped, and he got dropped from Maker Studios. Even though I've heard some not very great things about Maker Studios, I do think it was kind of dumb that Disney and Maker basically just decided, yeah, we're cutting ties with you over an out-of-context joke. Like, come on. I mean, I doubt PewDiePie is really personally affected by this. He's pretty loaded, and he's got a very large audience, probably a larger audience than the Wall Street Journal, so I'm confident he'll pick himself up, but really, like I said, the media just needs to leave him alone. Please. Leave PewDiePie alone! Please! By the way, shout out to some black guy for actually featuring the thumbnail for my first Metalgate video in his, at the time of recording this video, most recent video about the history of the gates, where he talks about the PewDiePie situation and compares it to Gamergate. He mentioned Metalgate in the video and decided to show my thumbnail in there, so that really actually means a lot, because Some Black Guy is one of my favorite YouTubers at the moment, so thank you, dude. Method Rock Synth asks, can we get the Hey Arnold video back? Okay, here's what's going on with that. If you think I deleted the video, I didn't. The reality is that the video was blocked in all countries except for Canada. It was claimed by B_Viacom. I tried searching and see if there was a chance that this was a false claim, if B_Viacom is some group of people that is notorious for filing false claims. I did see some results that hinted at that, but at the same time, you gotta wonder if that's actually the case, or if the person's just butthurt that they got their video fucking taken down because it actually violated fair use. But that's what's going on with the video. I did try to appeal the claim, but they rejected it. I'm planning on appealing it again at some point in the future at a really random time, because I want to see if there's a chance that it can fly under their radar. Hopefully they're not watching this video, or if they actually listen to the claim and drop it, then that's really great, because the video does fall under fair use guidelines, because the Hey Arnold video was for review, criticism, I guess, and commentary. You know, the criticism, of course, is positive, if that makes any sense, but those are part of fair use guidelines, and the content being sampled is transformative, so, you know, there's nothing about the video that is against fair use. But again, I'm waiting for a later part in time to try again with appealing it. If they reject it again and I'm given a strike on my account, I'm going to be very fucking pissed, more so than I already am, because this is a video that I worked my ass off editing. Myself and Mortify Productions were so proud of our videos. Like, this is the proudest I've ever been of a video that I've worked on. So you can imagine how pissed I am that the majority of the world's population are being restricted from even viewing the video. Like I said in my video about where's the fair use, I could care less if I can't monetize the video. I just want people to be able to view it. But shit like this is why Where's the Fair Use was created. I mean, I know it's not exactly as relevant now as it was a year ago, but this is why it was created. But if the claim is reinstated, if the video's taken down, I'm given a strike, I will upload it on another video sharing site. I haven't decided which one, but you will see it there. I'll make a video saying that it's over there. I'll tell Mortified Productions to make his audience aware if they're wanting to find my video, so be on the lookout for that. I will get around to that, but I'm just being very meticulous about it, if you catch my drift. La Day is Easy G asks, what's your education in music? I am a 2016 college graduate with a Bachelor of Arts degree in music technology. Before that, I took a course in high school, an AP course, for music theory, which I did very well in that class, and that class got me waived from Theory 1 in college, and when I got to Theory 2, everything was pretty much a breeze from then on out, and I was kind of the theory whiz of the class, for lack of a better term. Jackson Vasquez asks, tits or ass? I find myself more intrigued by tits than I am ass, because everybody basically has an ass. Not everybody has tits. Tits interest me more. Asses can be cool, but you can't go wrong with a perfectly good, nice pair of tits. Hector Gonzalez asks, do you ever think about high school or college from time to time? I am a very nostalgic person, so, you know, I do think about those times gone by more than you know. There are various things that, you know, send me into some flashbacks, whether it be driving a certain place or listening to a certain song, so it happens more often than you know. And part of the reason that I want to move to New York in the future is so I can be a good closer distance to a lot of my college friends. I have noticed that I kind of drifted away from the majority of people that I knew from high school. I still talk to some of them on my Facebook, but I do want to move to New York, so that I can be closer with everybody, and of course, because New York's music scene is really cool, and I'm much more familiar with it than I am the music scene over here or anywhere else, so nostalgia does play a role there too, I guess. Space Ferrari 248 asks, 1, what do you think about bronies? I really don't have a problem if somebody is a male and is a fan of the My Little Pony show. I mean, if you like the show, that's good on you. I mean, I don't really understand why anybody really makes a deal about it. I mean, I'm someone who watches childhood cartoon shows, and I see nothing wrong with older people or adults watching children's cartoons. I watch Hey Arnold and Doug and Rugrats and a bunch of other childhood shows a fair amount of the time, because they're still shows that really mean something to me. And My Little Pony obviously means something to you, because I noticed you have a My Little Pony profile picture, and other people who consider themselves part of the brony fandom. I myself have not seen the My Little Pony show, so I'm in no position to really judge the show because I've never seen it, so I don't know if it's good or bad. For all I know, it could be good, but I have never watched any of the episodes myself, so I'm not really in any position to judge. But the most I can really do is say, if you enjoy the show, keep enjoying the show. 2, what's the dumbest thing you've ever heard metal elitists say? Probably that being against elitism means having no musical standards and liking everything, and if you have your own musical preferences, that makes you a hypocrite. That was fucking dumb. Because that's implying that the problem that I've had with that community for all these years is just about their opinions. Like, I've said this in a few videos before, I don't care if you don't like a band, provided that you can give me a good reason as to why you're just not into the music. But to go as far as to say, this sucks because it isn't metal, even though it clearly is, what else can I say? That's fucking dumb. You know, it has nothing to do with your opinion. You're basically twisting facts. Straight Edge Savior asks, besides Real Big Fish, what other ska bands do you enjoy? Less Than Jake, Streetlight Manifesto, Big D and the Kids Table, Catch-22, the Aquabats, and that's about it, I guess. Obviously, it's mostly third wave ska, but it's good shit. Opinions on Anti-Flag. Saw them live with Real Big Fish earlier this month. Both kicked ass. I was contemplating on seeing that show, actually, but the thing that kind of turned me off from getting a ticket for that was I've been seeing a lot of Anti-Flag's posts on Facebook about their merch and about other shit, and I had a feeling that they were going to go on a bunch of political rants on this tour, and you know how I feel about political rants or politics in music, and it's just not something I wanted to put myself through, so I decided to not go to that. I do like Anti-Flag. I think their album Die for the Government is really awesome, and A New Kind of Army is also a really cool album too, so I do really like Anti-Flag a lot. I just don't want to listen to any political rants at concerts, which unfortunately this band is guilty of doing. Jimmy asks, 1, I've noticed you watch channels like That Guy T and Julie Borowski. Are you an ANCAP/libertarian? I identify more as a classical liberal than I do libertarian, although it's not really far off. The two terms are kind of interchangeable to me, but the reason why I lean more towards classical liberal is because there are still views that I have that are generally liberal. Not so much that I'm super left-wing and whatnot, but you know, I'm generally a centrist when it comes to politics, but I sort of teeter slightly on the left, which is basically the classical liberal territory. I do agree with a fair amount of libertarian viewpoints, so I guess it's kind of the next step up, if anything. That Guy T and Julie Borowski, I do enjoy their content, both. That Guy T, I think, has one of the most soothing voices on this site. It's not as easy for me to follow him as it is Julie Borowski, but I do get a kick out of his content. Eventually it starts to fall in and I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. And Julie Borowski, I really like the skits that she's been doing. Those are pretty fun. And not to mention, I personally think Julie Borowski is really freaking cute, but that's aside the point. 2. Do you enjoy the work of Mac DeMarco? I have no idea who that is. All 16 Dances asks, 1. What do you think of Sunny Day Real Estate? They're an okay emo group. I mean, I'm not as into them as I am the Early November, Rites of Spring, Jimmy Eat World, Weezer, bands like those that are part of the emo movement, but all in all, they're a pretty solid band. Of course, one thing I do like about them is that Nate Mendel, the bassist of Foo Fighters, is originally from that band. 2. What instruments besides guitar and drums do you play? I play a little bass, but I don't consider myself all too good at the instrument. I'm competent enough to where I can write some pretty good bass lines and bass parts and whatnot, but I don't exactly have as much of a feel for it as I do guitar or drums. I'm certainly no Davey 504. Austin Barr asks, do you like sitcoms like That 70s Show, Friends, and 2.5 Men? Yeah, sitcoms are generally my favorite thing to watch on TV. I don't really watch much TV, but sitcoms are basically some of the only things that I do watch. The show I like the best out of the few that you named, it would be Friends, but personally, it is outranked by Seinfeld, The Office, and How I Met Your Mother. Friends basically sort of comes after that. I haven't watched very much of 2.5 Men, but I thought it was okay what I saw. That 70s Show I still need to watch. I'm probably going to binge it at some point in the future. So yeah, I am a sitcom guy through and through. Silent Wolf X84 asks, who do you think is worse, extreme left-wingers or extreme right-wingers? Personally, I think they are both full of shit, and despite their different beliefs, they behave and interact very similarly, but any thoughts? You, my friend, just described horseshoe theory, and I agree with you. Any albums you excited for this year, or albums you've been listening to lately? I'm really excited for Steel Panther's upcoming album this year. Same with Persephone's upcoming album, Athma. Havoc's new album I'm looking forward to. Mastodon's I'm kind of interested in. And that's about it for what I know. I'm also looking forward to the debut EP by this band that my friend Official GATG has been doing some film work for, A Lucid Interval. I heard their first single and I'm like, damn, this band is really tight. I'm looking forward to when their album comes out, which I think is coming out pretty soon as I'm recording this, but yeah. And as far as albums that I've enjoyed this year that came out, Firewind's new album I really liked, same with Code Orange's new album, thought that was pretty good. I also liked the album that Rob Scallon put out at the end of last month, and of course Pink Season. Also, who do you think is the most overrated metal, hardcore, pop punk, or alternative rock band, and why? Also, any underrated bands you have in mind. One from each category would be nice. The most overrated band is easily, for me, U2. I think Bono has an okay voice, but musically I've always just thought they were really boring and way too overhyped for what they are. Now, for your underground recommendations, I did have to take a little break to come up with some really good recommendations, and I believe I have some good ones now. For metal, I'm going to recommend a instrumental gent band from over here in Boston called The Surrealist. They're a 3-piece band. They put out a really cool EP last year, and just recently they released a single that you should go check out. I will link their Bandcamp in the description. For hardcore, I'm going to recommend a French-Canadian band called Mute. They've been around since like the early 2000s, late 90s and whatnot. They also put out an album last year that was really awesome called Remember Death. They're a band that if you like really cool blazing blast beats and really melodic guitar parts, you will love Mute. Mute are insane. For pop punk, I got another local band from Massachusetts called Sick Vita. I saw them open for I the Mighty back in September, and they were the best opener. They're actually, weirdly enough, my favorite local underground band in Massachusetts. And recently I donated to their Kickstarter for their upcoming EP for this year, which I'm really looking forward to hearing. So check them out too. And for alternative, I'm going to recommend a band that came to my college a few years ago for one of the local Music Fest shows. They're a band from Philadelphia called Plainview. They're pretty nice, they're not bad. I was intrigued by their set, so check them out too. I'll link all of these in the description. Also, there's another also. Who was the cringiest band or bands you listened to in middle school? Or bands you used to like but make you cringe now? Most of the stuff I listened to in middle school, I still like to this day. I am someone who just over time just learned to not feel any shame about what it is that I listen to. And I've also been someone to hold on to a lot of shit that I enjoyed at that time and still find some entertainment value in it now. So I'm really not sure how to answer that because nothing that I listened to back then makes me cringe now. Nino Marinkovic asks, 1. Do you like the band Motorhead? I do, but at the same time, I do consider them to be one of the most overrated bands in metal. And I feel really shitty saying that considering Lemmy died a couple years ago, but I mean, the music's okay, it's not horrible, but I just never really thought it was amazing by any stretch. 2, if so, what are some of your favorite albums by them? My favorite of theirs would have to be Another Perfect Day. I also really like Ace of Spades, and Overkill. 3, what are some of your favorite albums by Fear Factory? I like all of the first 5 albums. Those are my favorites of theirs. In particular, I really like the albums Demanufacture, Digimortal, and Archetype. Shamim Dana asks, what do you think of The Rock Critic? I actually recently just subscribed to him. I've seen a few of his videos, and I think they're pretty well made and whatnot. I haven't really watched too much of his videos, but, you know, he's alright. Jack Kelly asks, any awkward relationship experiences? I'm actually sort of in an awkward relationship experience right now, actually. I didn't think I was going to be talking about this in a video anytime soon, but at the beginning of this month, I got into a relationship with another YouTuber, and you've seen her in one of my videos. In my Worst Songs of 2016 video, when I'm talking about Treat You Better by Shawn Mendes, she's the girl that makes a cameo and says, actually, no, we think you're a creep. She's my girlfriend now. Her channel is called The Mage of Breath. I'll link her channel in the description. And what makes this experience awkward, quote unquote, is A, the fact that this is a long distance relationship, and B, because she is on a bit of a hiatus from social media. I'm not gonna go into detail as to why, because that's her business and business of people close to her. But because of that, you know, connection and communication are kind of at halt. So I feel like I'm temporarily single for another couple months. So that's basically what's going on there. Definitely check her channel out. I sort of want to surprise her when she comes back and sees that she has a bunch more subscribers on her channel, but in all seriousness, she does make pretty good videos, so check them out. Your guitar is gorgeous. Thank you, sir. My question is, what is your favorite gent artist? That would have to be a toss-up between Animals as Leaders and Periphery, but if I had to pick one of the two, I'd probably go with Animals as Leaders, since Tosin Abasi is basically reinventing guitar, and also the fact that I just love instrumentals. Caleb Perdue asks, 1, what's your favorite Pantera album? This is probably a generic answer, but Cowboys from Hell, with Vulgar Display of Power being a very close second. 2, Rob Zombie or Power Band 5000? Probably Rob Zombie, due to the fact that his discography is pretty extensive with both his solo work and his work with White Zombie, but I do think Power Man 5000 is pretty good too. But nothing beats Fear Factory and Static X as far as industrial metal goes, in my opinion. And finally, Jose Tello asks, do you eat ass? I know you are, but what am I? And that's all the questions that I'm going to be answering for this Q&A. Thank you very much to everybody who left a question. Thank you for watching this video. Take care and have a nice day. I'm Shades, and I'll see you next time.